What is up? Welcome into a little Jonah Radio's happy hour. I hope y'all are having a beautiful day. Do y'all realize we've made it to Camel's Hump Day, the Camel's favorite day of the week? Why do Camels love Hump Day? I don't know, but I love that commercial, and y'all know what I'm talking about. It's just hilarious. But can I tell you a little secret? You know who takes care of me, don't you? Oh, yeah, MemphisFarmers.com and Chad Gatlin. Check him out whenever you're listening to us. Just remember, we're always brought to you, especially this hour, by my man over at Farmers. Yeah, we are farmers. Dun, 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 dun. But go to MemphisFarmers.com, and you will always be glad that you did. Now, we have a very busy show today. We have an exciting show today. Today we have fantasy football. Do you know at 2 o'clock? Get your fantasy clothes on, get your fantasy clothes off, take your questions, throw them up in the air, like do a dance like you just don't care. It's kind of like a little song I was giving you, I guess. I don't know. Probably some horrible 80s rap I'm pulling out. Gabe's over there like looking at me like I'm on drugs, but hey, I'm not yet. We are talking.
You had to hit him with the yet.
Yeah, I had to hit
not
him
yet.
with that. Because we're gonna have fun today. Because in all honesty, that was a great segue to. We are having fantasy football, so get all your questions to 67129 on the First Bank text line at 2 o'clock. But when I talk about drugs, there are drugs out there that are extremely bad for you. We have found out that also pharmaceutical companies and even doctors who are getting arrested all over the country, didn't take the Hippocratic Oath too seriously. Pharmaceuticals companies did a lot of shady stuff. Football players have been absolutely on the forefront of some of the most, I think, abused people on this planet when it comes to doctor abuse, because they would just give them Toradol and opioids and whatever to get them back on the field, and they didn't care about their liver or their kidneys or their addiction or whatever. They just wanted to get them back on the field because they wanted to cash checks. So again, a lot of this stuff we are going to talk about with Lewis Goldberg of KCSA. And let me explain something. He literally does like a podcast every single week. This dude is the he has business after business after business. He is the foremost, if there's ever a question about cannabis, and I'm not talking about a lot of times, see, this is what I'm trying to explain to y'all. I don't want y'all to just think of cannabis and think of Cheech and Chong. When I have fun, I love doing, hey, man, give me your license. Ain't it on the back of the car, man? I love that kind of stuff. I love a good pot joke. Don't get me wrong. THC, hilarious. But if we want to talk about something that's real, cannabis is a plant that has so many healing properties. They are now founding about not just CBD, but CBG. We're going to learn about that. It's helped in epilepsy, with seizures, just the amount of things that we are finding out, and the thing that the federal government did by making it a Schedule I drug, and the fact that for so many years we couldn't actually research this. Luckily, that Ole Miss, believe it or not, has been one of the leaders in marijuana research, and they actually have probably done more research on the endocrine system and found out all about the cannabinoids in in this marijuana plant. And again, not just THC, but CBD, CBDA, CBDV, CBG, CBGA. All these are things that do positive things for our endocrine system and get us back to normal. And we're going to learn all about this at 1:30. Again, after I do that, 2 o'clock, fantasy, 2:30, Hardwood, because it feels so damn good. Everybody knows it. By the way, did you know there's actually a street in Memphis called Hardwood?
Where at?
Check my Twitter, homie. My man Ace Finelli sent this to me the other day. I couldn't even believe this. I don't know exactly.
It's just Hardwood.
See, it needs to have IN. So, and I'm kind of confused.
You can go put a petition out there, man.
I need to get a petition.
We're petitioning right now to change the call.
Yeah, we want to change the street. It's a good point.
We can change that one, right?
Yes, we can change that one. Exactly. You know what? You're exactly right. But dead serious, man. Check this thing. My man Ace Vinelli sent this to me the other day, and I just fell over laughing because the street's name. Tell me can you see it on the screen? No. Pull it back.
A little blurry. It's
too blurry.
It's a little blurry.
It just says Hardwood Avenue. No, Hardwood Trail. That's even worse. Come on the Hardwood Trail, buddy.
Oh no.
Woo-wee.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
ladies, why don't y'all come with me? I got a date for you. I'm going to take y'all down the hardwood trail. That'd be like, uh-oh, no more date. Date over. Me run. I know. I'm sorry. I lost
Why does
my
that
mind.
sound like the beginning of like a porn video, man? I'm not
Probably
gonna lie.
does. It really, really, really probably does. But speaking of that, Chuck and Tito are about to do this ESPN thing. And can I be honest with you? When you think of Tito Ortiz, do you think of fighting or do you think of porn stars?
Fighting.
You do?
Yeah.
See, I think of him being Jen Jameson's boyfriend.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
Girlfriend,
either way,
boyfriend?
whatever. But that's how I always think of him. Isn't that sad? I don't know why. See, that's what happens. I call porn star Jimmy every time, no matter what. Jimmy will never just be seen as a quarterback. I will always see him as a porn star. Like-
you have points. This is, you do mention it every time you
Every
bring him
time.
up.
I can't think of him in any other way. He's the porn star champion of, like, the National Football League. Like, at least other, like, outside of my homie, he was in the NBA, Lamar Odom. There's nobody who's more famous for a brothel and dating a porn star. You know what I'm saying? So Jimmy G, he's up there. And I don't even know how I got to this. What was I trying to talk about?
I wish I knew.
I was talking about
I'm a-
baseball, I think. I was about
No,
to.
I don't think you had gotten to baseball yet. I think this had to do with Hardenwood, and then we got off.
Oh,
on a
yeah, I
tangent.
just completely
But you
got
know
off.
what?
My
It
bad. I was
happens.
having
It
some
happens.
fun.
It
It
happens.
does happen. But what I want to tell y'all is today it is a beautiful day, but the sad thing is our game's been postponed. Did y'all know that? Astros, Yankees. You didn't hear about this? Are you serious? Yes, this is not a joke. Unfortunately, Game 4, while Houston leads 2-1 due to weather, is going to be postponed. It's going to be made up tomorrow on Thursday, 7:08 first pitch. You know, weather, if the weather is cool and acting up. Yes, but yes, today's game has been postponed. If that's new news for all you fans out there, well, if you have a bet on tonight's game, you might want to go check it out. Maybe change it, get it fixed up, because who knows? Because, you know, they could even have a pitching change tomorrow. You never know what can happen. You know how these baseball games can be negated. And right now, I know Greinke, they say, is going to throw for Houston. The Yankees are coming out and say this is an undecided situation with that extra day. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do. But yes, Houston holds a 2-1 lead. I would like to just also pat myself on the back because I said what? Nationals going to close it out. Cardinals were going to lose. I apologize to all the Cardinals fans. I flat out called it. The Nationals, they did it. I want to ask this question to all of our people at 67129 and Gabe Kuhn. Why is it that every single year we 100% Kenny Mayne, Pete Thamel, me, I'm throwing me up there with them. Anybody who knows baseball and talks baseball always said in October, pitching wins. Pitching wins baseball. Pitching wins. Who has the better staff? Who's got the better relief pitching? What bullpen's going to stand up? Who's going to be this year's Madison Bumgarner? Remember that one year he basically won the World Series 3 games himself? Dude was a baller shot caller and even hit 1 yard that year. Dude was, every year it's about pitching. Look at the New York Yankees. They are the greatest. They are basically a bunch of, what do they call them? What did my man said? Savages.
Savages, yeah.
They are savages. But did you see what Garrett Cole did to them? Garrett Cole owned them. Those savages got 1 run off of him. And Luis Severino is somewhat of a savage pitcher. But you saw Altuve start things off. You saw him give up runs. You saw Houston get that 2-0 lead. And I'm telling you one thing. Once that 2-0 lead happened, Garrett Cole locked in like you ain't ever seen him, and he was in fuego, unhittable. Those guys were going up there, and you could only do one thing, and that was guess. And if you guessed wrong, you weren't getting even close to it because he was filthy. Filthy. So I want to ask this. If every year, every smart person in the world is talking about pitching wins championships, pitching wins, why is it that 400 some odd million goes to Mike Trout and $330 million goes to Bryce Harper, and we always pay these hitters astronomical numbers, yet these pitchers who get paid well, don't get me wrong, I ain't gonna act like there's something like sitting in some damn poorhouse. Zach Greinke's making more money than he deserves, but the majority of it is, if you look at it, people always were looking at that next star, that next Willie Mays, that next Hank Aaron, the next Mike Trout, the next Barry Bonds. What about that next Garrett Cole? Adam Wainwright, Madison Bumgarner, Tom Seaver, the guys that are going to go out there and get the job done when it matters. And why is it looked at so differently? And then most of all, I got to come out right now and say this. I am sick and tired of hearing people say that baseball coaching and managing does not matter. I'm going to say this right now. For those who don't understand the game, who are not involved in it, who don't live it and breathe it and haven't ever been a part of it, yes, you probably really think the dude just fills out a lineup every day, turns in some card, and that's all he does. You have no idea how much of a shrink an MLB coach basically has to be. You have no idea how many little small intricacies from moving your hands to maybe shorting your stride or squatting or, expanding it, opening up your stance, closing your stance, moving your hands. There is so many small little intricacies. But you know what? If you aren't a baseball lifer, you won't even know what the bleep I'm talking about. It is not just turning in a lineup card. It is being a shrink. It is being a person that can literally see all 26 guys on his club and know when they are performing at their peak and know when they're not performing at their peak. Not about numbers, not about something, but you see that. You see if they're laboring or if they're throwing something different, if they're tipping pitches, if they're opening up their front side, if when they throw their hands, they're dropping their elbow. I mean, there's so many things that go into baseball, and to keep a guy literally on point for 162 games plus the playoffs, I can't even believe people don't give the managers the due that they actually deserve. It's kind of sad. Now, the football coaches, yes, I feel like MLB coaches have to be shrinks. Football coaches are more like dictators, and NBA coaches are more like maybe, how could we say it? Innovators. They're always trying to innovate a new offense or a new defensive scheme, a new way to, score easily with your pieces. So, yes, everybody does it different, but don't tell me that the easiest job in the world is sitting there in a managerial position. I can promise you, baseball, watch it. They also, by the way, call most of the pitches unless you have somebody like Yadi Molina. Probably didn't know that either. Yeah, dude, they call the pitches. They call the defensive, the plays. They go over. The work that a manager does in baseball is basically like an 18-hour job a day, Holmes. Straight up. It's an all day long, all day strong thing. So I just wanted to throw that out because I did hear a lot of people talking on the broadcast, on the Twitter, even on these airwaves. My good buddy Eli was kind of even making fun of some MLB coaching and stuff. Oh, you just put in a lineup. No. And I know that, my man, there's just so much that goes into it. And again, all I'm trying to say is if you are literally in it or involved or a fan, you would understand why some coaches are great and some coaches stink. Now, I have to say, my man Mike, he pushed all the right buttons against the Dodgers. Congratulations. He couldn't push a button that was right because he ran into a buzzsaw. And let's just be real. I mean, the Dodgers. The Cardinals beat the Braves. Sorry. They always beat the Braves. I don't know why I said that. But what I'm trying to say is the Cardinals literally ran into a buzzsaw. They beat the Braves, and I really think they beat the Braves. And let's just be real. It happened in Game 1. They came out there. In Game 1, Cardinals go out there. They're in Atlanta. They pull that bad boy out. Next thing you know, yeah, the Braves got that great pitching from Mike. But, man, after that, they got a nice little pitching from here. But then when they went to Cardinal land, Cardinals pulled that thing out in Game 4. And then when they went back home, you just knew the Braves felt like they had lost. Do you know what I'm saying? Like those young kids.
And their big bats weren't hitting.
And they weren't
that's
hitting.
The biggest issue.
And then the Cardinals pulled that bad boy out, scored 10 runs in the first inning, and they did not hit a single home run. And this is what I want to ask Cardinals fans. I went back and looked at that Cardinals-Braves series, home runs, base hits, how they scored the majority of their runs. And then I went and looked at this Nationals. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this Nationals team is built on pitching. You can be straight up honest with me. Max Scherzer was a flat-out dog, was he not? But Anibal Sanchez might have been the best pitcher of this series so
the way
far.
I saw it is the Cardinals sort of did
Swing
all
for the
their
fences.
they did all their damn hitting in the Braves series. So when they
They
got
switched their approach. They started swinging for the fences. It seemed like against the Nationals, they quit playing that small
Yeah,
ball.
and they got
didn't
no
score.
hit.
They didn't score on that 10 runs. How many home runs did they hit? This is what I'm bringing up. How many home runs did they hit in that first inning against the Braves in Game 5? They did hit 0.
0?
They scored
And
10 runs.
Of those
on
10
hits.
runs, there was 0 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And also the Braves sort of had an implosion defensively that inning too.
Yeah, it was
Just like the
bad.
Cardinals did last night.
No, that is a very good point. But anyway, the point of what I'm just trying to say is this team, from a single, a walk, a double, a walk, a double, a double, a strikeout, a double, a single, they go out and score 10 deadgum runs. Not a single home run hit in that ball game. Then they go out there and they face this Nationals team against Anibal Sanchez. Then you got to face Max Scherzer. And then, oh my goodness, like Steven Strasburg, who was basically dope as can be as well. And then, of course, you're thinking to yourself, you're getting a little bit of a break with Patrick Corbin. Didn't seem like much of a break, did it?
No, I have a question, though. When you talk about Mike Schilt and some of the decision-making last night, and I understand a lot of this has to do with analytics and everything like that, but
Too little, too late, dude.
No, but my point is when you
Game
have
4.
the bases loaded, okay, I believe it was the top of the 7th, why do you bring in a guy like Matt Carpenter? I understand he's a vet. I understand he's been really good with the bases
He was
loaded.
wanting the granny.
So
That's why he was going for one man who thought could live in the moment. He was going for
he
the
thought
guy.
he thought it was
He
last
was
ditch
going
effort.
for it. This
way
is,
too
this
little,
is
too
my
late.
moment. It can.
And
Matt
obviously, I
Harper
understand
step
not
up.
hitting Bader there. I understand that.
Yeah, I
completely.
wouldn't.
But I just thought it was very interesting, judging by what Matt Carpenter has not been able to do this entire season.
He was hoping he could just catch one. That's it. Basically, he was hoping and praying he could catch one, because Harrison wasn't.
And that's the one thing that's sort of the saving grace in that. But he hit Wieters later. I figured in that situation you might be able to go with Wieters too.
There's a lot of
obviously,
there's a lot of things that could have. I'm going to be happy. I'm happy. I had the Nationals and I had the Astros last night. I told y'all. I think I gave everybody these games for free. Did I not? In fact, I had a guy who I saw last night who said, "Bro, I've been taking your baseball picks. You are on fire, son." And I was like, "Thank you, sir." He was like, "No, thank you, sir." And then I was like, "Well, you know what? I kind of like Fuddruckers upstairs. If you want to go give me some of that." And he was like, "Cool." I don't mind asking.
what do you get from Fuddruckers, man?
Dude, I got that hamburger with the egg on it and all kinds of, dude, it was so good.
Wait, hamburger? You don't get cheese?
Yeah,
A
cheeseburger.
cheeseburger. So you gotta say, yeah.
Dude, I
It's
just
not a
say
hamburger at that
man.
point. It's a cheeseburger, man.
Well, I say a hamburger with Swiss and the egg over meat.
A cheeseburger with Swiss.
Well, see, I say a hamburger with Swiss. Because it is a hamburger until you put Swiss on it, Holmes. Like, I think I'm right. If you say I want a cheeseburger, you know what they're going to think immediately? They're going to put some American on it. If you say I want a hamburger,
but
they're
if you
thinking,
say-
oh, dude don't want nothing. But then when you drop the Swiss, he's like, oh, he wants that holy cheese.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I need a little something holy.
But then when they're entering it into their little system, right, they put hamburger. But, I see it, just say cheeseburger. Throw me off, man.
67129, would you prefer them to say a hamburger with Swiss or a cheeseburger?
With Swiss.
I'm serious. Because I think I'm right on this one. And these are one of the dumbest arguments we probably ever had in our life. But it for some reason makes things fun. Now, 67129 is the text line. And again, I'm about to take us to Cannabis Land. We are literally going to talk with Louis Goldberg. I cannot wait. This is something that's very serious. I do want to remind y'all the reason it's serious is, and I'm not joking when I say this, we are losing people at a horrible rate. More people die a day from opioid overdoses than car wrecks, gunshots, and I think murders combined. Is that correct? I mean, it's something like so bad. It's like
It's an epidemic.
I mean,
and
it's a damn
I don't
epidemic.
think we I feel like we almost beat it over the head.
And, yeah, we talk
it's
about it
just
a lot.
so obvious. It's out there. It's very understood, and there needs to be people to tell us the science of why we need to move away from it.
And that's what we're about to do, and I'm bringing on Louis Goldberg. The other thing I'm trying to break is stereotypes for some reason. I guess Reefer Madness and old propaganda flick was made marijuana look like it was something bad. Again, this plant is there actually for beneficials. It's a lot better than, Toradol, Oxycontin, or all these opioids that they would shove in the body. And the reason I bring this up is because I have been told 1,000 times that who cares about these opioid people? Who cares about them? I've had people text in and say, all they have to do is stop, or things like that. Again, you don't even realize, and you say, or this is, I'll get this text all the time. Why are you talking about this on a sports show? Because a athlete, unfortunately, is almost 50% more likely to become addicted to opioids than a non-athlete, because guess what? They are the ones who are being prescribed them, or they were the ones who were being prescribed them by doctors. And it was a very disturbing situation. This is something that now we're really living with the ramifications. And I'm going to bring on Louis Goldberg to talk about this. And we are going to rock and fire. So whatever you do, don't you dare touch that dial. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail on Sports 56, 96.1, and of course, 87.7 FM.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Shoot for free at the newest and largest gun range in the Mid-South. Join Sports 56 Middays this Friday on the road at Top Gun, 2770 Witten Road, formerly Range USA in Bartlett. Pick up a free range pass and win a pair of Memphis vs. Tulane tickets. Top Gun, the largest indoor range in the Mid-South with over 22,000 square feet of fun and great barbecue at Ferguson's Barbecue. Carry permit classes from $75. Unlimited memberships as low as $29 a month. Top Gun, the only range in town where you can rent fully automatic weapons and shoot them on site. That's this Friday at Top Gun in Bartlett. Come shoot with us.
Your Memphis Tigers football team is back in action on Saturday, October 19th against AAC foe Tulane. This is a big game in the race for AAC dominance, and a loud and proud Memphis home crowd is necessary. Single game tickets start at just $20 and are available today at GoTigersGo.com. Come out and see one of the nation's most exciting teams. Memphis versus Tulane on Saturday, October 19th at 6 p.m. Sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Stripe up.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod, and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn, you bet your boots.
Williams Equipment and Supply, your Bobcat loader and excavator dealer, is #1 in compact construction equipment. With the highest market share, the largest inventory of equipment, attachments, and parts, the largest compact rental fleet, and the best technicians and the most locations, Williams Equipment is the undisputed leader. Find out why more people buy, lease, and rent Bobcat equipment from Williams Equipment than any other brand.
This is Cody Bumpus, your Bobcat specialist of North Mississippi. Call me for a demonstration and a finance quote at 901-508-8739.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour.
Kick it over here.
This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Thick and thin, I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man.
What is up? What is up? Welcome back into a little Johnny Radio's happy hour. I don't know if y'all are ready to rock and fire, but I am ready to rock and fire. Interesting, because you could fire one up right now. This would actually kind of make sense. I'm just joking. We're going to talk actually cannabis. A lot of people out there are thinking Cheech and Chong, and I know they are like, oh, I saw that, man. Keep on knocking, but you can't come in. No. There's a different world out there. Again, I want to talk about why is it that we allowed tramadol and opioids and Oxycontins, and we gave our athletes all these very, very dangerous drugs. We caused a complete, huge, gigantic epidemic when we actually put this miracle plant, and the federal government made it a Schedule I basically for propaganda, and it's just very, very sad. But the world is changing. So I went out there, and I'm very fortunate. I had a friend of mine who introduced me to Lewis Goldberg. This is a man who literally knows more about cannabis, the business of cannabis, how politicians feel, everything that's going on in this industry. And I think it's a perfect time to do this. And I'm really just fired up to introduce y'all to him. So let's bring him in. Gabe, bring on my friend Lewis, please. Lewis, how are you doing?
Johnny, it's a real pleasure to talk to you. And I happen to tell you, I love Memphis.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite cities. My boys and I, every year from high school, and I'm almost 50, go around the country once a year for like a guys' weekend. And last year we went to Memphis and had the absolute best time. So you are in a great town.
Well, man, next time you do that, Lewis, you hit me up. I'm going to take y'all out and show y'all some extra special treats. But I also want to remind people, Lewis, he does this podcast that everybody needs to check out. It's the Green Room. It's the Green Rush.
The Green Rush.
Yeah, the Green Rush podcast. It's at @the_Green Rush. I'm at Johnny_Radio. He's an _ guy too. At the Green Rush. Very easy. Follow that. Check out that podcast. If you have any other questions, I'm sure after today's interview, you'll be able to get those from him. And then you can also follow Lewis at KSA Lewis, and you'll see Lewis Goldberg, 50 years KCSA. I'm sorry. It's at KCSA Lewis. Now, Lewis, I got so many amazing questions for you, and I got to tell you something. There have been people on both sides of the fence. I've had people who have been begging me to bring you on. I've had many people who want to hear about this. And then I've also had people ask me, how does this even relate to sports? Before I get into the questions that we're really going to talk about can you just kind of educate those people of why this is so important and what is, cannabis, the future of it, and why it does matter for sport?
So from a sports perspective, if you're a football fan, the guys who are getting hit repeatedly, but basically being run over by Mack trucks on every single play, are in unbelievable pain. And that goes from college to the pros, and to even more important
like
for the guys who have retired. They have to take fistfuls of opioids to just be able to get onto the field. And these things are highly addictive, really bad for your system from a long-term perspective, and hurts these athletes. And there are natural remedies, cannabis being specific, that can really help. And the plant itself, it's a really unbelievably complex thing from a chemical perspective, but if you just break it down into its two basic components, there's CBD, which pretty much everybody is seeing at 7-Eleven or Walmart, and this is a great component of the plant that has anti-inflammatory pieces to it that helps eliminate the inflammation from impact that a center is taking every time he snaps the ball.
Same thing tramadol does without the side effects of destroying your liver.
100%. There are actually, your body has something called the endocannabinoid system. You are literally born with the ability to process cannabinoids, which are the underlying chemical components in cannabis. And every piece of fruit that you eat, every vegetable that you eat also has low levels of cannabinoids in it. The plant cannabis just happens to have elevated levels. So if you have CBD on one side, that's really good for inflammation. You have THC on the other side, which everybody knows is the psychoactive component. It's the piece that makes you feel really good. But what else it does, what it does as well, is it limits pain. It doesn't get rid of the pain, but it your receptors are triggered in such a way that you just don't hurt the same way. And
it also helps your body continue to rebuild these cannabinoids and almost get you back to almost a like a homeostasis where you're back to a normal level.
100%. And if you talk to athletes, and I'm lucky enough that in working in this, I've spoken to everybody from Ricky Williams and Marvin Washington, who are great former NFL players, to Al Harrington, who played in the NBA. They will tell you that they attribute their ability to literally get out of bed in the morning to the work that they are doing with cannabis, that the pain that they have from their playing days. And you don't think of the NBA as a full contact sport, but Al banged down in the paint for 25 years, from high school to college to the pros, takes a toll.
Dude, running and jumping on your knees and your ankles, etc. That's I mean, it's like I said, it's so true. And plus, people who listen to this show, they heard Kyle Turley talk about how at the end of the career he was close to ending his life. He was in so much pain, and how cannabis in this plant literally saved him from committing suicide. So I mean, it really is a very important very important thing. Now, I also have to tell people about this. Don't hold Lewis accountable. I'm not saying he was a politician. He was a political consultant. Now, I want to know truly, what do you believe was the issue, or why is the issue that cannabis was a Schedule I drug under the federal law for so long, and do you see this changing?
So let me start with the second half first. The answer is yes. The federal government is moving very quickly after literally 40 years or more of not moving towards setting up a regulatory structure that will allow any state to deal with cannabis the way they want. So Tennessee will handle it one way, Massachusetts will handle it a different way, Oregon, Iowa, you name it. Each state will have the ability to say, okay, we want a medical program only, we want an adult use program or a recreational program, however each state wants to do it. And right now, the House of Representatives just passed something called the Safe Banking Act, which is designed to allow companies that work in this industry to set up bank accounts, to borrow money, to pay their employees, to get insurance. We're waiting for Kentucky's leader Mitch McConnell to bring it to a Senate vote, and all indications are that this will happen. I can get into the nitty gritty, but there are lots and lots of Republicans everywhere who are in favor of decriminalization and regulation. One, because there are tens of thousands of people in federal penitentiaries for low-level cannabis crimes, and it would save the federal government literally billions of dollars a year. And these are people who had guns in their pockets.
Plus the tax, man. You could tax it. And then the other thing for me is, and this is one thing you haven't issued, there's been a lot of people have seen on TV these vaping deaths. And this is coming from black market. This is not coming from legal, reputable people where you see, from extraction to the finished goods. You know what I mean? There's like this, middleman. You don't want that. You want this. You want it clean extraction to the finished products, and then it's healthy, and you take the black market out of it, and that you won't have sick kids anymore. And again,
100%.
We actually can tax this and actually help, build roads, pay teachers, get more cops.
Colorado has made more than $1 billion in tax revenue since it legalized it. Washington State is approaching $1 billion in taxes alone. Okay, that doesn't include, and that's on sales tax. Okay, that doesn't include all of the money that is paid to the people who grow it, who process it, who work in the dispensaries and sell it, who are working as drivers, who literally have to drive the cash from a dispensary to a bank because they can't take credit cards. I mean, it is the size of the cannabis economy is estimated today to be about $75 billion a year. Of that, only $16 billion is regulated. So you were talking about, a tremendous amount of money that is going untaxed, unregulated. I have a 16-year-old son, and I am a cannabis consumer, and I have told him, listen, you're going to be at a party. somebody's going to offer you a joint. Please don't smoke that, because I don't know where it came from.
Yep.
You could get sick. I will tell you where my stuff is, because I know that I got it from a regulated, taxed, legal dispensary, and I know you're not old enough to smoke, but you're a teenager and you're going to do what you're going to do. Please use something that I know you're not going to get
You're
sick
going
from.
to get sick and die from. And this is great. You literally led into my next question. I don't know if you can read my mind, but Lewis, this is perfect, because this is what I wanted to ask you, because I got friends, I got parents, I got students, I got at the University of Memphis where I work, I got people all over the place asking
Go Tigers.
me. Yeah, thank you. How do you distinguish realistically between a reputable store and just some shady dealer?
So the first thing is you have to look at what state you're in, right? Not every state, and there are right now 33 states that have some sort of legal cannabis program, and Tennessee I don't think has one. But so you have to go to a state where it's legal. If you walk into a cannabis store or dispensary, if the guys who are selling you the plant, who are selling you the product, are using their bare hands to reach into a jar and hand you it, that's illegal. They can't do that. If they are selling you stuff that is open, they can't do that. Everything has specific packaging requirements. If they are not charging you sales tax, that is illegal. So, it's really simple. If it feels shady, it's not legal. If it feels like you are walking into a real store that has really nice packaging, has sales tax, has people who will explain this to you, it's most probably legal.
And another thing I've noticed, if they have their lab results, because this is something that I'm shocked. I didn't realize that vitamin E was something that these shady dealers were using to fill these cartridges with, and how dangerous vitamin E acetate is. And if you go into a place that's reputable, they're going to have a certified analysis of their products, and if it has vitamin E acetate in it, not to buy it, dadgummit.
Every legal cannabis store and every product in the store has a clear label and packaging. Just like going and buying a can of soda lists all the ingredients, or you're going to buy something in the grocery store, or, a box of cereal, it lists all the ingredients on the side of it. Every legally packaged and sold cannabis product, and that can be from a pre-rolled cannabis joint to an edible to a vape pen to a topical, you name it,
tinctures,
has every
whatever.
single tincture, you name it, has everything that's in it. It will tell you the percentages of THC, the percentages of CBD. It is,
What is, by the way, everybody knows CBD. Do you know what CBG is?
I do, but
What
before we
is
get
that?
to that,
Go ahead.
let me ask you a question. What is the most regulated industry in the United States? The most regulated industry is weapons, right? What is sold to the military. The second most regulated industry, right after what is sold to the military, cannabis.
Whoa.
Yes. So cannabis, every single state will tell every market participant how to package it, how to track it. So if you walk into a legal growing facility, every single plant has an RFID chip on it that the state knows when it is moved from room to room, when it is dried. Every single piece of this industry is tracked.
That is something that makes total sense, and that's why you have to stay away from these shady dealers, because that's how kids get sick, people. Now, I also have to bring this to you because I don't know if I should be saying this. I'm not going to say her name. I had a very, very bad situation this year. Literally thought there was a point that I might be dying. I know we're all dying, but it could have turned out really, really bad. Had a neurologist tell me, though, shockingly, that cannabis, CBD, CBG, even THC, and all those. Heck, she said CBN, and she said things I've never heard of.
and THC.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. She said it actually believes from her studies, and she said I can't tell you this, so she just basically said from her studies and what she's seen, she believes it's a neuroprotectant. This is I'll go right ahead. It sounds like you've heard this before.
Well, so here's the thing: the illegal nature at the federal level does not allow, the University of Chicago or the University of Memphis or any, Johns Hopkins to do research on this, to actually know what the proper dosing is, what the indications are. So we are guessing. We have to wait for countries like Israel and Brazil and Colombia to do this research because the federal government is not allowing us to do it. And you had asked the question, why is it illegal? So, it is clearly understood that President Nixon made this illegal as a way to target people who are of color. Right in this, he was president in 1968, saw what happened first with the Summer of Love and then all of the riots, and as a way to allow the police to go into communities of color and target them, he said, we are going to make cannabis illegal, we're going to make psychedelics illegal, we're going to make the drugs of choice for the youngest generation who are rebelling against the war in Vietnam illegal. That's why he did it. And since then, we've had Nancy Reagan with the Just Say No movement. Even Bill Clinton set up the drug laws in the 90s, to target people of color. And I clearly, with the last name Goldberg, am not a person of color. But the likelihood for me to be arrested for smoking a joint, walking down the street, is 1/4 the likelihood of somebody who is black or brown to be arrested. And that's just wrong.
That's unequivocally just wrong. And plus, the other thing that's wrong is doctors prescribing things that they know that will absolutely hurt you in the long run or make you addicted. And the other thing is that I'll tell you my own personal story. I had a doctor basically give me a huge bottle of opioids, and then bam, when it was over with and my rehab was done, they're like, "All right, cool, now you're done." I went home, thought everything was good. I didn't know when I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, sweating and sick, that I was going through dope sickness and withdrawals. And if I was probably a little more educated, who knows, I might have gone and bought something off the street, or who knows what I'd done. But I went to the hospital. They looked at my record. They sent me to a 2-week rehab facility to clean me out. So like I said, man, there are many, many, many shady doctors out there. So realistically, do your research and find out what you can, because this plant has a lot of positives. And through the years lately, we are finding out there's a lot of shady doctors who cared a lot more about padding their pocketbook than the Hippocratic Oath and doing the things absolutely right. Now, Lewis, you have a wonderful podcast. I would love to talk to you still. I know you got to go off and do some more work. I want to ask you one other question. If you're Adam Silver, Roger Goodell, or you own a pro sports franchise today, would you feel better that your guys were shooting up Toradol, taking opioids, or would you feel better and okay with them smoking a joint?
I'd much rather them smoke a joint or use a topical or an edible or a tincture. And the good thing is that, the NFL's collective bargaining agreement is going to be renegotiated next year, and they are going to be discussing including the use of cannabis. And if you think about it, of the 32 NFL teams, I think it's something like 26 are located in states that have a legal cannabis program in it. So if you play for the Jets, and as a Jets fan, I'm sorry if you're playing for the Jets, but you're living in New Jersey, you can get a medical card in New Jersey to use cannabis for chronic pain. But if you fail a P test, you're going to get kicked out of the league. That has to change, and it will change. And I bet you that it's the NFL who does it before the NBA. As great as a commissioner as Adam Silver is, the NFL's CBA is up first, and they're going to get it done.
Make sure you follow Lewis on Twitter at KCSA Lewis. And whatever you do, the Green Rush podcast is something that covers everything and all things cannabis. Check it out. And don't forget also, by the way, my man's a fully integrated communications agency specialist, does public relations, you just do everything, Lewis. What can I say, man? You're a man who does it all.
Johnny, I really appreciate you taking the time. This is a really, really important topic, and I know it's not spot on to sports, but, everybody has pain, and everybody should have access to the medicine that best helps them deal with that pain.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Lewis Goldberg, you take care of yourself, and we're definitely going to do this again down the road, my brother.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Check out that podcast, folks. It's _Green Rush podcast. It is the bomb diggity, and it's at _Green Rush. Check out the podcast. You'll love it. Now, I wanted to remind you, because the reason I brought on Lewis, was not only just to talk about CBD and what's going on, and what's going on. I have a place now that has become an advertiser with me, and it's called Your CBD Store. They have a store in South Haven, Mississippi, now one in Cordova, Tennessee, and of course, one over on Poplar. So you can find them at 1076 Goodman Road. You can find them at 3157 Poplar or 680, that's right, 680 North Parkway, Germantown North Parkway, that is, out in the Dova. See everybody in the Dova at 68 North Germantown Parkway. If you're in Memphis, you know where 3157 Poplar is. And people down in North Mississippi, check out 1076. Y'all know Goodman Road. It's big, it's bad, and everybody knows now the place to go that's reputable, that Lewis will tell you. They have their lab results. They'll have all the stuff about if it has vitamin E acetate. They have the CBD. All the tests are right there. You'll love it. It's Your CBD Store, South Haven, Memphis, and Cordova. We'll be right back on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Start your day with the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hertz right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
It's back. The Carhartt Crazy Sale at Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Visit Frontier this month for huge markdowns on clearance Carhartt items. The latest fall line just launched also, and Frontier is fully stocked. We've got jeans, shirts, bib, overalls, jackets, coats, gloves, belts, boots, and more. And to make room for all the new items, we've discounted a number of short-sleeve plaids and T-shirts. Save up to 50%. All Carhartt jeans are now $5 off. This is the last jean sale of the year, so stock up now for yourself or for someone else for the upcoming holidays. Christmas will be here before you know it, so you might as well save some cash now on what you know you'll need. Also this month, we are including a buy one, get one half-price sale on all novelty T-shirts by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, Live Oak, and more. It's the Carhartt Crazy Sale and more at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Benswinger Glass.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products. All found at Your CBD Store, with 3 locations: Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD Store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD Store, with 3 locations: Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD Store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD. AC trouble? Make your first call your last call. Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60, and 24-hour emergency service is billed at normal rates. Your comfort is their highest priority. Contact airdoctorsofmemphis.com or call 901-598-HVAC.
Now back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour.
Get over here!
This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
What is up? Welcome back into a little Johnny Radio's happy hour. And you know how fired up I am? It's fired up. I'm just kidding, y'all. Sorry. That did kind of go very good after that segment, didn't it? I killed myself. But no, I do want to tell y'all is that was a great. I hope anybody who has any questions goes out there and reach out to Lewis. You will find anything you ever need on their podcast. It's really, really awesome. But I do want to remind you that we are going to talk fantasy football here in just a minute with my man Jim McCormick. We got Hardenwood, and then I want to remind you tomorrow we got a guy who's coming on about he's doing dreams for kids who are 6 and giving them their sports dreams, making them all come true. That's at 1:30. Plus James Thomas, the coach for Houston High School, who played with me and is now coach at Houston and actually taught my daughter last year, which is hilarious. Coach Shabazz is going to be up in here, and we're going to talk about Lincoln Perry, the running back who hadn't got a D1 offer. And again, this guy just ran for like 350 yards and 5 touchdowns all over Collierville. Asked my daughter how good was Lincoln. She said, the dude is sick, Dad. So I think that's really good. But now it's time to talk to my very good friend. It's Nunzio. Where's my man Nunzio at, dude? My call screen ain't working, Gabe. Bring on my man Nuns. Nuns.
Is this you, Johnny Radio?
Yes, sir. What's up, Nunzio?
Johnny Radio, I've been tracking you and betting your baseball picks.
You rich, baby.
You know, you have picked 10 games since for the playoffs. You know how many you've hit?
I think 9.
9. That is exactly right. You hit 9 out of 10 games. That's 90%. That's just phenomenal. And the reason why I'm calling is because every time I listen to your radio show all the time, every pick that you pick, I go down to Fitzgerald's and I play those picks. And I won enough money to take my girlfriend out to Ruth and Chris Steakhouse. Afterwards, I took her to Macy's, bought her new pair of shoes, new dress, new purse to match and everything. And when we got home, she says, "Oh, you are just so nice. I want to thank you." And I said, "No, don't thank me. You thank Johnny Radio." And, what do you mean? You need to call the Johnny Radio show, and you thank Johnny Radio for taking you out tonight. And she said, "Well, I don't want to get on the air. I don't want to get on the air." She said, "Well, you call Johnny and tell him thank you for his picks." And I think I can remember, didn't you pitch for the University of Memphis?
Oh, yeah, that was many moons ago, though. I was actually young once, too.
Is that how you handicap so well?
No, dude, actually, it really isn't. I think it's my whole, my just life experience. And there were a few years where I got my tail kicked so bad that if I didn't learn from my mistakes, I was going to end up broke or dead.
Well, I know you're busy and everything, but I want to call in and thank you from my girlfriend, Johnny Radio.
Hey, have a great one, Nunzio. Congratulations, man. And I really do. I can't wait to give you some more winners. I hate the fact that they canceled today's game, or I'd give you another one today. That's my man Nunzio, who's listening to Sports 56 and 96.1 down in Tunica, because you know we got the new FM channel. Also 87.7 FM. And don't forget, get that Sports 56 mobile app. You can take it anywhere. So if you miss one of my picks, you just pull out the app, bing, bang, boom, check it, you're good.
Don't ever tell Johnny he don't help the community. Y'all
right.
Just heard what happened, okay? We got people taking their girlfriends to Ruth's Chris, okay, off his picks.
That was beautiful.
Dang, that's
some sweet right there. You know, that was a sweet night. I hope she actually thanked him too, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, don't forget, this is always brought to you by my very good friend Chad Gatlin. If you go to MemphisFarmersRightNow.com during this little bitty break while we get ready for Jim McCormick, you'll freak out because by the time Jim McCormick's on, you could actually get a quote: home, auto, life, business, health insurance, whatever you need. Go to MemphisFarmers.com. See my man Chad Gatlin. You'll be so glad. It says Daniel Gatlin, but his friends call him Chad. Trust me. And you'll also know that you heard it from him. If you don't like the internet, you can always call him at 901-235-1176. That's 901-235-1176. We'll be right back with Jim McCormick and fantasy football. Hit me up at 67129, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 FM.
this corner is Bob, the Beast of Bar Graphs, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working the percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, not for sale to minors. Website restricted to adults 21 and over.
Let's be real. Most smokers aren't looking for some overcomplicated vaping machine. That's why we created MyBlue. MyBlue is simple. Our pre-filled liquid pods mean there's no mess. One charge and MyBlue lasts all day. And with our range of flavors and nicotine options, you have a choice. MyBlue answers on what matters for smokers. Real nicotine satisfaction. And right now, try MyBlue for $1 at select retailers or myblue.com.
Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating over 35 years of serving the Mid-South by giving a big thank you to you, their loyal customers. You can come in, relax, watch your favorite games, and enjoy hand-cut steaks along with a premium bar. Sunday and Monday nights from 5 until 8:30, you can get select entrees for $25. That includes a salad, baked potato, and bread, and you don't have to pick one, you get all three. Some of those entrees are 10-ounce New York strip steak, slow-roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, marinated grilled chicken breast, grilled boneless pork chops, and crab stuffed shrimp. Plus, all appetizers and desserts are 20% off. Don't forget, Hamburger Friday every Friday from 11 to 2. It's the best. The Butcher Shop, always a Memphis tradition. Call 901-757-4244, 901-757-4244 for more information, or just stop in at 107 South Germantown Parkway in Cordova.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod, and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn? You bet your boots. Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products, all found at Your CBD Store, with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD Store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD Store, with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD Store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD.
If you're an outdoorsman and love all things hunting and fishing, be sure to listen to Sports 56 Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. for Outdoors Today. Brought to you by The Gun Store, 6920 Winchester in Memphis. Outdoors Today is a 1-hour show hosted by veteran Mark Tobin and a group of respected outdoor-loving guests. Outdoors Today is dedicated to bringing outdoorsmen tips and techniques and tactics to help with your hunting and fishing in all seasons. Saturday mornings at 6 on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. This Hour is brought to you by your CBD store, your one stop for all your natural, organic, and non-GMO CBD products, where good health hits home.
Check it out right here.
Ladies and gentlemen. And now?
Now, a man that eats meat so rare, he only eats unicorns. Johnny Harden.
What is up? What is up? Welcome back into a little Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Y'all know who I am, your sports mixologist, John Harden. I'm extremely excited to tell you all about everything that's going on in the world. And I'm about to talk with my good friend. He's actually a very good friend, Jim McCormick. He's a fantasy football and basically fantasy basketball. Basically, I think he's a fantasy expert. I'm sure if I talked to him about other fantasies, he'd probably know a lot about that too. I'm messing with Jimmy, but Jimmy's also... I don't know, Jimmy's he's fun on Twitter. He's hilarious. I wouldn't think I'd be too off, actually. But I do want to tell you something really important. We've been talking with my man, Lewis Goldberg, in the first hour about cannabis. We talked about marijuana, basically all kinds of different stuff, your endocrine system, CBD, CBG, THC, all that stuff. But I do want you to know, if you are in pain or if you need oils or tinctures or gummies or soft gel capsules, e-liquids for vapes, topical creams, pet products, by the way. There is a store, and it's called Your CBD Store. They're in South Haven. They have one on Poplar right here in Memphis, Tennessee, and also over in Cordova. And again, why do you want to use them is because they literally, from extraction to the finished goods, they literally have PhDs and scientists in-house, and they watch it from like the very beginning. They have all the labs right there, so they can talk to you about it. I mean, you walk in there, you're not walking into a head shop. You're not having Cheech and Chong sell you some product. This is something that's very, very serious, and it's very, very good. And heck, the majority of the people I see in there are actually, I hate to say it, because I'm getting elderly myself, and now I have to realize I'm becoming an elderly man. I guess I'm going to start joining AARP soon or something. But I'm dead serious. SunMed is probably one of the best products out there, period. And they have SunMed at Your CBD Store. Check it out. I trust them. I trust them with my family. Now, speaking of trusting people with your life, my fantasy football, I only trust with one person, and that's Jim McCormick. Jimmy, what's up, my brother?
What's up, man? It's another week. I was saying to Gabe, it's like it goes slow and it goes fast. That's the NFL.
Man, you ain't lying. I'll tell you another thing that the NFL is it's been honestly, if you didn't have fantasy football, you might be as annoyed as me. I mean, I still get annoyed even though I have fantasy football because, man, is the officiating, is it just me or are they screwing up everything this year?
Well, I think they put themselves in such a bad position with like the challenging of the like that you can challenge
a subjective call.
Yeah, these subjective calls, and it's almost like we know that they're going to back up their original call, so it's really not even an honest appraisal or reappraisal of the situation, and it just wastes our time. And I just think, what I'm trying to say is they were trying to restore or increase faith in the system, and they actually eroded it even more. And more importantly, they need to have a system like the NBA where there's a central office in New York. If there's something really close, they make the decision. They override because they have TVs and all the angles. And you just trust them, and you trust that system. It's almost like the NFL is a fantasy team that keeps trying different strategies every week. You know what I mean? Like, stick with a process, find a process that works, and stick with it. They don't have one.
Now, another thing that I got out talked about is as much as quarterbacks have been a complete, absolute cluster, you know what? Think about the supposed top 10 running backs this year entering the average draft position. Did you know, 6 have been top 10 fantasy points, per game guys, but Saquon Barkley, injury, hadn't been playing. James Conner's just been awful. Le'Veon Bell's been in the same awful category. Todd Gurley obviously still ain't healthy. If you got one of these guys, what are you thinking? And how crazy is the running back position, which I feel like has kind of been for some reason flying under the radar. Everybody seems to be talking more wide receivers and quarterbacks. And I look at the running back situation, and maybe because it's my team, and sit there and say, damn.
Well, I think we have, there's a change in the guard in some sense. I mean, now we're looking at, the Dalvin Cooks that are elite. Obviously McCaffrey is just ridiculous. But, yeah, Nick Chubb's playing really well. So, I mean, it's not to be, to be honest with you, I bet if you ran this season against other seasons, the hit rate isn't that much different.
You think so?
Or the miss rate. Because it's just that, we kind of have a bias to the things that we know that happened. I guess what I'm saying is there still are backs that played well. Like Fournette, you talked about last week. People still have a bad taste in their mouth. He's number 5 in fantasy among backs. He's got like 120 yards a game. Like, there are some players I think that are hurting you, obviously. Like, but even like Kamara will get healthy. He'll be back. And like, if you can survive that, Barkley's about to be back. Obviously Cook's been elite.
Oh, it's going to be big if you've survived.
Exactly, you have to survive. But I think it's just the attrition and the erosion of the NFL, man. Right? It's like on any given play, like we can lose our top player. So that's why you still in fantasy. The waiver wire is particularly gross this year, I think, because there hasn't been a ton of replacement value. At the same time, try to trade for depth, try to acquire depth, try to build up your roster still. Don't just sit on it.
I want to stay with running backs here. Joe Mixon, okay? He's had 3 sort of double-digit weeks. Like, he has his moments within that offense, but that team is just very, very bad. When you look at Joe Mixon, has he played himself out of even a RB2? Is he a flex option at this point, or would you look
27.
elsewhere?
He's on the back end of that now. It's a shame, but I mean, like, so we talk about this each year that, like, it doesn't happen very often. Like, Saquon Barkley is the outlier, and what I mean by this is to be an elite fantasy running back on a bad offense. It doesn't happen as much as you think. Like, you usually want that. It's almost like a correlation thing that happens a lot. In terms of, like, you need some semblance of a quality offense. I think, there's outliers and there's guys who can outperform that. But, I'm not sure that's the case when you're dealing with Cincinnati. Like, game script gets out of hand is what it is. They might plan going into that game. Zach Taylor might say, listen, we're getting 22 to 24 touches to Joe Mixon. But when it's 21-3 in the second quarter, it's less, you have to, like, flip your game script and it gets different. And Gio Bernard is still an annoying piece of the team. Like, not like he's a good player, but I'm saying he's annoying for the fantasy value of Mixon. So, I mean, it's a shame. Like, here's the biggest thing I think about Mixon. I don't want to talk too much about him, but he's only forced 1 missed tackle the last 3 games.
Whoa.
And, like, he's just
and they
not
are
being
playing
elusive.
Jacksonville.
I don't love it. I mean, Jacksonville actually hasn't been good against the run.
Really?
They've given up the most yards per carry in the league to back, 5.4 yards per carry. Yeah, but
I didn't know that.
At the same time, like, it's not super high volume. Like, they've been gashed. So at the same, meaning, like, we're not, like, I'm not exactly sure it's completely real. Like, I think they're actually better than that. And at the same time, the real point is it's really tough to trust skill players on these awful offenses, especially running backs, because you're dependent, like, on getting those goal line carries.
Well, can you put this week any trust in, honestly, some Derrick Henry action? I mean, I don't know why, if you can't trust him this week, the way that, the quarterback situation's been, and they're playing the Chargers at home, can you trust him going forward? I actually think he could have a huge game. Am I kind of just showing some Tennessee love?
Kind of, right? Like, he's never going to catch the ball, like, ever. And so everything he gets done has to be converting goal line. Like, he has the most rushing touchdowns since the start of last year, or since the second half of last year, since he really took over that job. He's got, like, 12, 13 rushing touchdowns over this period. And that's really his thing. He's kind of more like old school Adrian Peterson style in the sense that he has to have 20, 25 rushes and he has to convert touchdowns. Otherwise, you're going to get like 8 to 12 fantasy points. But he's still a good gamble just because how many backs in the league are getting 25 touches? He's one of them. And honestly, you can't do much worse than Mariota. Like, the switch to Tannehill might actually be a positive.
Good point.
And that's what I was going to say. With Tannehill switching, who are some of the guys you think will see an increase in production?
Like my colleague Mike Clay did a thing about his whole point is just like the problem with Tennessee is just it hasn't been that players haven't played well. Humphreys looked good. A.J. Brown has definitely looked good. It's that they're not committing like part of their game plan or the bandwidth of targets. Like, they're not coming in and saying you're getting 10 targets this week. They're not really like scripting stuff for their guys. Everybody gets different counts each week, right? Like three. There's a week that Humphreys will have 3 targets and then 11 the next. So it's difficult to project that for fantasy. The hope is that Tannehill falls for somebody, that there is a connection. Whether that's Corey Davis, I doubt that's the case, but maybe A.J. Brown finally gets like real work, because that would be really exciting. So we'll find out. I'm not sure who that's going to be. I think Delaney Walker will definitely get some value back, though.
One of the best teams in all of football happens to be San Francisco with porn star Jimmy, but I'll tell you one thing. They are not going to take you to the fantasy football championship. It doesn't feel like. I don't know which running back I would want more, Tevin or
Coleman. It's Coleman.
Is it Coleman?
Because, again, he's again like Breida might even be the better back, but it doesn't matter as much if he's not running routes very often. And Coleman led the team last week in snaps, routes, targets. He also led the team last week in touches inside the 5. Like, and it's a small sample, but he had 3 or 4 of them inside the 5 last week. So I just think, like, if you think about it, for a couple years now, as Breada's been on the team, right, for the last 2 seasons,
yeah, and he looks
each
good.
offseason, that's fine, but each offseason, the head coach has gone out and personally pursued first McKinnon, who just flamed out, but now Coleman. So there's definitely like a pursuit of this satellite back. And, you know, we saw Coleman have an awesome fantasy season before, even in split work in Atlanta. And it might seem like an outlier season, but I think he's the back I'd rather own. I know Breida might be the actual better football player, but I want the guy who's going to get 6 to 7 targets sometimes.
Fascinating stuff. I also got to ask you real quick, just before I jump off this running back situation, how high are you on Josh Jacobs?
I'm pretty high again. He's another one. So not last week, but week 5 in London was the first week where he led the backfield in routes run. He didn't get a ton of targets, but they're just not using this guy enough to get him in space.
Do you think that that's going on the other, like, I mean, is he starting on an upswing?
But he's trending, what I'm trying to say is he's trending kind of like what Marlon Mack did last year in a positive way. He's trending towards becoming a 3-down back. And you'd hope they'd commit. So I think Josh Jacobs is really fun. He's like, I'd rather have him than Joe Mixon, for example, you know, just because they're at least a mediocre, competent offense, not bottom run.
Man, oh man, that is so fascinating too. Now I got to straight up ask you, this is a fantasy question, not who you want to take, but we got to see D-Dub go against Patrick Mahomes. If for fantasy, do you want Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes?
Well, actually, I want going forward. I want Mahomes, but thus far, obviously Watson's been better. But it's really just Watson could, but it's close. Like I've read some arguments in the summer that I really did trust that said, you know, Watson might be the number 1 guy because of the rushing, and that's something that Mahomes doesn't really provide. But here's the thing: Mahomes is 12th in touchdown rate, which is simply just touchdowns divided by attempts. Last year, he obviously had an astronomical one. He threw a touchdown on like 13% of his attempts, which is ridiculous. Now it's really low. Not low, but it's down to like 6-7% league average. He's going to bounce back. There's going to be some 4 and 5 touchdown games, and I think we both know that the recipe is Tyreek Hill.
At this point, Kyler Murray, his lowest point output this year is 15 points. I think he's sort of multifaceted in the fact that he can run. Has he played himself into nearly a must start at this point?
I mean, yeah, because we talked about the erosion at quarterback. It's really not that sweet anymore. Like, quarterback's not that easy to field as it used to be. Some of those injuries, losing some of those top offenses. But yeah, I mean, it's one of these things. Some people call it the Konami code. I've talked about it before. Like the Contra code. Because what it is you can have but do you remember Tyrod Taylor all those years in Buffalo would have like 165 yards passing and 1 touchdown, but you'd look up and he had like 21 fantasy points. It's because he ran for 65 yards and touchdown. Josh Allen's doing it. Like, if you look at the board now, it's interesting, Gabe. Like, there's actually more of these guys than there are not in terms of who's playing well. Like, right? Like Russell Wilson, Lamar,
Russell
Kyler,
has been insane this year.
Josh Allen. Like, all of these guys are like the only guys who aren't runners in the top like 15 are like, Jacoby Brissett, who's got a crazy touchdown rate, and maybe Matt Stafford for the same reason. So running is kind of what you need now at quarterback.
Yeah, it's actually kind of weird. Like Matt Stafford wouldn't be in your top 20. Realistically, Aaron Rodgers is actually kind of on the bottom of this week. And that's the other thing. Like Aaron Rodgers, everybody was talking about he's a bad man on Tuesday. He's the bad man.
Yeah.
Well, it sure took a couple BS calls for him to win a 23-22 game by 1 whole whopping point. Yes, he did.
The fantasy fund hasn't been that great. I mean, I know he hasn't had the skill players.
Thank you.
It hasn't been amazing. Like if I could trade, like if I say I had like a Kyler Murray and I had an Aaron Rodgers, like it's fine to pair guys, but I wouldn't mind. I think there are people in your league who would still pay a lot for an Aaron Rodgers.
I do too.
And I'm not sure he's he's so different than the rest of the guys we're talking about.
I don't either. Now I have to know because he's your guy. What the bleep is going on with Carson Wentz?
Yeah, I mean, look, like
real.
Here's a good stat for you. It's not good for the Eagles fans, but the Eagles have 13 drops on passes past 10 yards. Now, a drop is like an official, should have been a completion. And this is per Football Focus, so it is subjective, but still. Been graded 4 times. They came up with the fact that it's a drop. So, like I said, the Eagles have 13 of those. The rest of the NFL has 14.
What?
So they're just incompetent. They're running into each other. I mean, look, if Aguilar catches the one ball in Atlanta, and if
So
Arcega-Whiteside
homie was
catches
dead
the
right
one
when
ball-
he was talking about catching babies, unlike
That's
Aguilar.
what I was saying. I was like, it sounds like your buddy who's like the hero.
Unlike Aguilar, right?
Unlike
Aguilar.
Aguilar.
So, you know, I think that Carson Wentz is in that tier with Aaron Rodgers, where like he's fine, he's a QB1, and you're still going to start him. But a lot of the octane is out of that offense in the sense that like they're so dependent on Deshaun Jackson, it's scary. And I think they need to look at themselves, and it's the third oldest roster in the NFL. I think eventually they need to have a kind of a come to Jesus moment and start getting more speed on that roster. I'm not panicked. And the schedule's been tough, but I think Carson's going to reward you down the stretch if you look at the home schedule. But so far, he's just another quarterback.
Wow, I have actually a very interesting question, and I think this is a great question, and it's kind of it cuts both ways. It's a fantasy question, but it's also a reality question, and this is something you'll be able to answer. Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones are playing against each other this weekend. Kyler was one. We all know where Daniel went with New York. People went crazy that David Gettleman lost his mind. Gettleman's looking actually pretty good. But then again, I'm also saying this, and people are getting mad at me. You're comparing him to freaking Eli Manning, who has been like he couldn't do anything back there for since he last won a Super Bowl. They have not won a playoff game since, okay? Like, let's just be real.
Jones also has 8 interceptions since that first half against Tampa.
Yeah, he's not been nearly as well.
I mean,
but
so he actually is doing his best ode to Eli.
He really is, isn't he? He's got more interceptions than touchdowns, so that's definitely an ode to Eli. But my man Kyler Murray with 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's thrown for 1,664 yards. He doesn't push the ball really down the field very far.
The rushing.
And he's also running the ball. I'm just curious, though, going forward, realistically, fantasy, I think it's Kyler Murray all the way. But is there any chance that Daniel Jones is actually could he ever be could he be the
better player?
The real deal Holyfield? Could he be the better player?
I'm sure it's possible. I'll still take the fact that as small as he is, Kyler Murray, the baseball thing does matter to me. And not that he played baseball, but he has that much arm pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
If
he
you
throws
see
a
some of
pretty
the throws
ball.
he makes, he does some Russell Wilson stuff where he's across his body and doesn't need to have full leverage or full his feet can be bad and messy, and he still can make the play. I don't know enough about Jones, to be honest with you. I studied Kyler way more, just because obviously his exposure in college, but it seems kind of he's playing well, but I think the sample's way too small to tell us who this guy is, right? Because every 3 weeks we change our mind on Josh Allen. I think we have to give this guy a little bit more of a sample.
I'm right there with you now. I got to ask you something that's really funny because Captain Cook, Mr. Cousins, is crazy as heck. Somehow he got the Zach Brown band fired. I didn't even know they played football. I mean, he does all kinds of crazy stuff.
Zach Brown running past every play also didn't help Zach Brown.
Yeah, that definitely didn't help him either.
He was like Bobby Boucher on Coach.
And then that post game interview couldn't have been more uncomfortable.
So dorky.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about when they went to Zach Brown after the game, and he's
I'll
"I'll answer questions not about Kirk Cousins." It's like, dude, you set yourself up, man. At this point, you got to just address him.
See, that's funny.
You can't dunk on somebody and then not get dunked on. It's just not how it works.
Well, we both had 2 different ones. I was thinking about how Kirk Cousins is just kind of he's a dork, trying to have a cool name for Stephon Diggs and hey Diggsy and everything. Anyway, he's just an idiot. Take that. But anyway, my question is, for Minnesota, are we gonna start thinking that maybe Cousins is actually gonna get the ball to Thielen, maybe get the ball to Diggs? Are these wide receivers on the up, or is this just an anomaly?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it could have gotten much worse in terms of, do you remember that first game of the season? It was
yeah, true.
Cousins threw it 8 times. And it was just what is this night? This isn't even 1994 football. This isn't 1944 football. What are they doing? And it's it just was a strange, appropriate, Zimmer really does want a time machine. You can tell he wants to go back and play Lombardi. But at the same time, the talent is showing up. I mean, look, John, it took a guy wanting to quit. He was about to pull a Jalen Ramsey. He doesn't even want a new contract. Diggs was just I hate this. So obviously, I don't think they love Cousins, but it's going up. It's on the way up. And hopefully you start playing Diggs again, and he can help fantasy teams.
With the Packers running back situation, obviously Jamal Williams just coming off probably one of his biggest outputs of the year. Is there any cloudiness, or is Aaron Jones still the main guy there?
No, it's getting cloudy. I mean, like I just saw a breakdown. Like somebody posted, it was like, the last 3 weeks, it's been like the snap split isn't that much different than it used to be. It's like 60-40 still in favor of Jones, but the touch split is changing, and like the number of like targets. Like Williams to start the season was more of a change of pace guy, a guy that you would come in for kind of a condition like there'd be a reason to bring him in. Meaning was like this is like Jones just had the ball 4 times, now this guy gets in. Now it's almost like he's getting an entire series. So he is etching into it. Jones is still the guy that you're going to want, I think. He's the guy you want. But Williams is being annoying, and I think, these coaches don't care about your fantasy team, is what we're learning.
Yeah, that's for daggum sure. Now, I'm going to do a little rapid fire because we're running out of time. Going forward, who do you want more from Ole Miss? Do you want DK Metcalf in Seattle, or do you want my man A.J. Brown in Tennessee?
I want A.J. Brown. I love Metcalf. I love the air yards he's getting, but I just think there's more of a dynamic, all over the field role for Brown.
All right. Is Kenny Golladay, is he just a one-hit wonder and we're going to see Amari Cooper back, or is this a guy that you might want to stash and stick?
In Detroit, Golladay?
Yeah.
I think Galladay's a stud. I mean, he's only one of 12 players with at least 50 targets, and he's done it in 5 games. So I like him.
You like him? I think that was basically meant because I think he played for my man Amari Cooper in his roster last week. And that's basically, is Amari Cooper, do you feel, is he healthy enough to trust against Philadelphia?
It sounds like he's going to be back for this game. I mean, it's a playoff game. I think as cautious as they were with him against the Jets, I think some of that led into, it's almost like what the Eagles held back Deshaun, for example, on other weeks. I think all sides know that Sunday night is a playoff game. There's only going to be one playoff team out of the NFC East, and we're going to find out probably on Sunday.
It's got to be like a bad thigh bruise too to miss. If you miss 2 games, I think he's going to play this week. I don't see you miss 2 games with a thigh bruise.
I'm just going to guess he does. It's such a high leverage game.
Now, how much does Sammy Watkins actually help Tyreek Hill or maybe Travis Kelce by being ruled out with the hamstring issue this week?
I think in the sense that those high value vertical targets, they're it doesn't really matter for Kelce. Kelce just has his part of the playbook. But I think with Hill, if it's just a couple more of those, it's almost like, DeAndre Hopkins, as good as Fuller is, whenever Fuller's off the field, Hopkins starts going crazy because he gets all those 20, 25-yard down the field passes. So in addition to the heavy work. So I think that's what we're looking at with Tyreek Hill. I mean, Tyreek Hill has 18 touchdowns of at least 40 yards since he joined the league. He joined the league in 2016. He's got 10 more of those touchdowns than anybody.
That is awesome.
So
awesome.
You're just talking about a different kind of, it's like if Deshaun Jackson was part Antonio Brown, and I don't even mean mentally, I mean on the field.
Now, one more thing before I say goodbye, we're going to do a little New York wide receivers for the New York Football Giants. Do you want the Golden Shower Master, Golden Tate, or do you want my man Robbie Anderson?
I want
with the Jets.
That's a good one. That's a really
tough
good question.
one, isn't it?
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go with Tate. I mean, not Tate. I'm going to go with Anderson because I think that he's exactly going to be what he was before because
Before the
Darnold's
injury?
back, and Darnold can really spin it.
I like it, man. And I'm going to tell you something. If you like that, get it every single Wednesday at 2 o'clock we start. It's me and Jim McCormick, but the best thing about it is my man Jim McCormick might be the nicest guy in the world other than me, of course. And you can always just tweet him at Jimmy or he's an underscore guy just like me.
Yep.
Jim, isn't it at underscore Jimmy McCormick?
It is. You
Just
got
that
it.
simple, man. Y'all
It
can
is.
do that, can't you? Just at underscore is the first thing you do, and then just go Jimmy McCormick, bing, bang, boom. Done.
Like
If
I said,
you,
we can talk some Grizzlies. You guys have an exciting squad, so we can talk John Morant and Brandon Clark and all these exciting players.
man, you're actually going to have to teach me a little bit about fantasy basketball. We'll do this off the air before I bring you on the air because I ain't going to lie
Cool.
to you. I've never played fantasy basketball. Is it as fun?
Yeah, it's more like fantasy baseball. It's not in a bad way. You just have to. It's more minutia. There's a lot more players. You have to grind, but
Dude,
it's
I love
fun.
fantasy baseball.
It's just like It's just like football or baseball, where in the middle of March you're gonna look up. There's no other sports, or middle of February you're gonna be like, oh look, my dude had a triple double.
Dude, that is so amazing. Hey, be good out there, Jimmy, and
Appreciate it, Jimmy.
good luck with your Eagles
Take care,
this
guys.
week, brother.
Oh, they're gonna need it because it's a playoff game.
That's my man, Jim McCormick. He's the best in the business. Give him a follow at _Jimmy McCormick and check him out every single Wednesday right here at 2 o'clock. We'll be right back with Hardwood on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, not for sale to minors. Website restricted to adults 21 and over.
Let's be real. Most smokers aren't looking for some overcomplicated vaping machine. That's why we created My Blue. My Blue is simple. Our pre-filled liquid pods mean there's no mess. One charge and My Blue lasts all day. And with our range of flavors and nicotine options, you have a choice. My Blue answers on what matters for smokers. Real nicotine satisfaction. And right now, try My Blue for $1 at select retailers or myblue.com.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products, all found at your CBD store. With 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD store with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD. AC trouble? Make your first call your last call. Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60, and 24-hour emergency service is billed at normal rates. Your comfort is their highest priority. Contact airdoctorsofmemphis.com or call 901-598-HVAC.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour.
Kick it over here.
This hour is brought to you by your CBD store, your one-stop for all your natural, organic, and non-GMO CBD products, where good health hits home. Here's Johnny Radio himself, John Harden.
Shackles, ball and chain. Listen to the whistle of the evening train. You know you bound to wind up dead. You don't head back to Tennessee jail.
What is up? Welcome back into a little Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Y'all know who I am, your sports mixologist, John Harden. I'm about to do my favorite segment of the day. That is a little bit of Harden Wood, because yes, it does feel so good. But I also want to remind you, I got the best sponsors in the world. Y'all know your CBD store, South Haven, Memphis, Cordova. Y'all also know I got the best barbecue in Memphis that backs me. That's right, Central Barbecue, 4 locations, simply the best, man. Downtown, right behind the Civil Rights Museum. The original on Central, not far from the university. If you're getting ready to head to a game, tailgate, just stop by and get all your barbecue from there, baby. Or Summer, great place to have a lot of people over there. They got great rooms, party rooms. It's just awesome. And then the new bad boy right down the street on Poplar. It's beautiful. It's blue. It's awesome. It's Central Barbecue. From the best barbecue, the best ribs, the best greens, the best banana pudding, the best chicken, turkey, everything you can think of. It literally is. It's the best. Go to cbqmemphis.com. Also, if you got a big heart and you want to ship that barbecue anywhere in the good old US of A, CBQMemphis.com, baby. Central Barbecue, simply the best. Let's go to Hardwood.
This is Access Hardwood.
Oh, it is Access Hardwood. Speaking of Access Hardwood, how long before we see Joe Madden driving a VW bus down the LA freeway smoking a fat joint?
He ain't doing it already, man.
Dude, I think he's on his way right now.
Joe strikes me as a
dude. I'm telling you,
as
Joe.
one of those types,
Joe took this
man.
job for one reason. He's like, I'm getting a little old. I can work with my man Mike Trout, and cannabis is legal out there. I'm gonna get me a big old VW bus and just drive around and go Willie Nelson on the world. I can see it now. Instead of like pajama parties, he's gonna have like dope parties.
He's gonna have to paint up the bus.
It's gonna be hilarious, dude.
Just for him.
Do you think the Madden and Angels actually works?
I think the Angels have bigger issues. They need to have some of these deals that they do in the offseason work out for them in the long run. They just haven't been very successful, and I don't know if it has to do with their upper management managing or their players. We'll see. Sort of one we're gonna have to watch play out.
It'll be interesting. I will say, Joe Madden, great manager. Tampa Bay, great years there. Great years with the Cubs. Got that World Series. Wowzers. Always thinking about that Miguel Montero grand slam. Ooh, wow, that was such a big moment. But then thinking about like the persona that he is, it almost feels like this would be kind of a fitting stop for him, like to end in Los Angeles with the Angels. I don't know, as much as I joke around about the situation and things, I think this might work. And I wonder, Mike Trout, if Joe Madden actually goes out and gets some good pitching, will we actually get to see the best player in the deadgum game in the postseason? Like, how nice would that be?
I would like it. That's what I'm trying to say. Is I just have to see this stuff happen before we think. I don't know how it'll go. It's more of my. I don't know how you feel about it, but it just seems as if that Angels ball club needs a little more than just a manager at this point.
They need a manager, some pitching, some GM. They need a lot. So maybe Joe can be the one that get them going in the right direction. We'll see. They got plenty of money. I know that. Just look at that $400 million they gave my homie Miggity Mike, man. 400 milli. But now, speaking of all that good stuff, you got Joe Madden. He's heading back in his VW bus, smoking a joint probably right now on his way out to Los Angeles. Or do you think he flies? Like on Snoop Dogg. Like, do you think Snoop Dogg would send out his like thing and be like, yo, Madden, I'm going to bring you to LA.
Mile High Club, man.
Join the Mile High Club. Give you a little bit of like some Cali. Some super dang, get you ready for this.
So he's already
LA
up
trip.
there, and he's smoking his J.
I think actually Snoop should open up his own airline. I think it would be a very, very good. I think that should start.
What do you call it? What do you call it, man?
Dude, what do we call it? The Mile High Club. Straight up, just call it the club. Snoop. Snoop D-O-double-G, baby. Now, I do have to bring this up. Sorry to let you baseball fans. I told you about my man Joe. He's going to LA. Also have to tell you, because of weather, we are not going to get Game 4 between the Yankees and the Astros. It has been postponed due to weather. This is a big break, I think, for actually the New York Yankees right now. Game 4 of the ALCS delayed till Thursday. And again, right now, the Astros are currently a game ahead, 2-1 in this series. And I always say this. Why do we spend so much daggum money on position players when every single October we say pitching wins championships?
They pitch every 5th day, man.
That's a good point, but they still
they play a 5th of the games.
True that, but man.
But no. You got to go out and get arms in the offseason.
You got to.
I have a serious question.
Realistically, Albert Pujols and Mike Trout, for the $650 million that those two players alone will receive, they have been given. Albert got $250 and Mike $4. So for $650 million, they ain't brought no dang World Series.
That's what I'm saying.
So
They've paid a lot of people that had the pieces haven't really worked out. Okay, how many surgeries have you had?
They could have gotten Charlie Morton. Don't get me started on that.
How many surgeries have you had?
Two.
Like a little amount, right?
2.
Not in the double digits. I know some people in the double digits.
1, 2. Yeah, 2.
So get this, man. There was a report that came out in Pro Football Talk Darren
you
Gant
talking
wrote this
about
article. Alex Smith,
17.
he has had 17 surgeries to repair the
On his
damage
leg.
on his broken tibia and fibula from last season. I can't imagine this, and I think it has to do with the fact that he actually, because of how bad the injury was, has dead tissue in his leg that he needs taken out after he developed an infection. So I think this guy, I mean, personally, if I'm Alex Smith, I'm done, obviously.
But
like,
if you
I don't even
did
try.
you hear him the other day?
What'd he say?
And that's what is such a trip about him. He doesn't care that he's had 7 surgeries. He still says he's going to be the team's quarterback.
I see. That's you
Like,
can't
dude,
do
he's
that,
got
man.
a
I think
crazy mentality when it comes to. I mean, like,
this
think
is where it
about-
comes to the point where if you're the Redskins, you have to tell him, hey, man, you've had enough, man. It's done. Like, just let it go and move on. Like, I feel like he's a guy who could transition at some point into being like a broadcaster or something like that. Go do that. I don't want to see you get hurt again on the field, because that repaired leg is very, very, very. It's a problem.
It ain't no joke, basically, is what we're trying to say. It's the real deal Holyfield. Something that obviously feels like a joke to, I don't know who it feels like. Well, it is a great joke, actually. But do you have it still? Do you have the XFL? Was that not you? Like, it was the funniest thing. Was it neither one of y'all that showed this to me? Oh, my gosh, it must have been Austin. So do you remember yesterday? Okay, it's sad.
The XFL draft?
Okay, so the XFL draft happened. Y'all know that, right?
Yes, I do know that.
So did you see what the XFL did after the draft?
I did not.
They jokingly sent, because you know how Antonio Brown started that hashtag free AB? And I
Did they troll
didn't-
AB? Why'd they?
And I literally
Okay,
didn't even
yeah.
talk about this yesterday because, one, we got literally things going on Hong Kong, LeBron James, the whole hashtag free AB stuff was such BS. And this is just a guy who used to get attention by playing on Sunday. Now he can't even play on Sunday. So he's trying to get your attention on social media. Okay? He's an attention harlot. He is a attention harlot. That's all he is. And he just wants some attention. Now, he started the hashtag free AB. Right after the draft, they sent to him. It said XFL to AB. You did not get drafted, so I guess you're free from the NFL and the XFL. Like, trolled him so hard. I thought that was pretty
Why couldn't they stay out of it?
hilarious.
Well, I
Dude,
get it probably gets a lot of eyes to their product.
It got like
Yeah.
10,000 retweets and stuff. It was hilarious.
While Antonio Brown is a PR nightmare, I guess if you go and put your name and attach it to his sort of facade, you get eyes on what you need to. I don't blame them, I guess.
I thought it was, in fact, I really, really have to give it to, I'm very proud of him. Now, did you see my tweet about the guy who pulled the Costanza? Dude went to the year, he got fired. And did you ever see the Seinfeld episode where Costanza got fired and he just decided, maybe if I just show up, I'll still keep getting paid. And he just kept showing up to work. Well, this dude did it. He pulled a Costanza and they just kept paying him for 4 years. For 4 years. The dude got fired.
It works. It works.
Keep showing up.
Just you people out there, you know Costanza-ing works now.
Dude, so now you can say, and by the way, I want Will Muschamp to become I want, like, if you lose to a guy who literally gave it to you, you got Muschamp. If you work when you're not supposed to and they still paying you, you just pulled a Costanza. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty impressive. Now, those are also very impressive stories, but this is a very sad story. Please tell me you heard about the lunatic that called in a bomb threat during the LSU Florida game.
Because he was about to lose a bet. I saw this, and trust me, okay? Losing bets doesn't feel good, man.
Calling
But
a bomb
come
threat?
on, man. What is up with people? Lose your bet in peace. You're the idiot who put the money down.
Yeah.
Accept it.
Accept it. Deal with it, homie. And now dude's going to deal with, because they caught him.
Do you know how much...
Dude, he's
in this
so
country,
much trouble.
You know how serious we take bomb threats? This is not a joke, kid.
This is no joke. This dude is, by the way, and he's also the worst age. He's over 18.
I'd say he's a college kid, isn't he?
He's 19. So you know he's dumb like a child, but he's going to be tried like an adult. Oh, buddy. And I have to ask this, and I'm serious. Don't take this the wrong way if you're young and listening, because y'all look a lot better. It's weird. Like, I can't tell the difference between young people. It's like they grow up faster with, like, their looks. You know, I'm like, dang, that kid's only so, and then that dude's huge. Or that girl's what? You got to be kidding me. You know? Like, so that happens. But don't take this the wrong way. Like, should we move like adults to like 21? Because I feel like kids are a little bit slower. Yeah, maybe y'all got more technology and you're book smart, but common sense has gone straight out the window with almost all of them.
Okay, but I think that common sense that you're talking about will not be acquired by the age of 21 either. So you know what I mean? So like, why not? I mean, 18 seems correct. Like, I think people, if you don't have your common sense by 18, I don't necessarily know when you're going to obtain said common sense.
Yeah, I know when I got mine. By the way, find your conscience. That's usually where your common sense also helps with. But anyway, Rob Gronkowski, he says no to the NFL comeback. Basically nixes his return to the Patriots. Why would this be news? And why is people talking about it?
And also, have you seen how skinny he's gotten? He's not been really going crazy with workouts, man. He's in pain. He's done his CBD thing. I can't see this guy coming. And not to mention,
he's 30.
He's a analyst now. He's getting paid pretty nicely.
He's had, by the way, just so you know, 20 concussions and 5 blackouts.
I bet he has had up there with Alex Smith amount of surgeries as well.
Surgeries out the Frizz name. And again, I don't know why anybody would think. And when you see him today, he don't look like Gronk. And you mentioned it. That's what I was actually going to go to. Is why would the Patriots people who are the fans keep saying, dude, we're going to get a Gronk return late in the year. The dude looks like he went like, you remember the center for Minnesota who went to Harvard? What was his name? Bird? Dude lost like 100 pounds after he was playing center. And is like now a bodybuilder. Looks like great and everything. Gronk is not looking like a bodybuilder and everything, but he does look like he's lost about 60 pounds, if you know what I'm saying. You can tell he ain't doing the NFL workout.
Exactly. Now, if you're a Raiders fan, I'm sorry. I know Raider Corey's out there somewhere.
Love you, Raider
but
Corey.
I'm sorry. Like, every time we turn around all these free agent signings in the offseason, you talk about Antonio Brown, Vontaze Burfict. You talk about Trent Brown now. He has been accused of repeated, not just once, repeated domestic violence against his girlfriend, Diora Marzette Sanders. And she accuses him of slapping, punching, and choking her multiple occasions beginning in 2018. And at this point, with where we are in the NFL with domestic violence, there's sort of a no-tolerance policy. So he's out. I would assume the executioner, Roger Goodell, will put his fist down pretty soon.
Oh, my gosh. You want to hear something else crazy? Because this is something like what you talked about made me want to cry. It's disgusting. And again, I just want to also say one more thing. What is going on with Trent Brown, AB, Vontaze Burfict? Think about like this.
And not to mention, think about this. The Raiders, who else did they sign in the offseason?
Richie Incognito.
This is their problem. They did not vet these guys enough. These guys have had issues in the past, and they just let it continue. And that's the problem with a lot of people when you talk about the NFL. They don't vet these guys enough, and they just put up with some of the criminality of some of these guys because of their talent.
And FYI, just so you know, Brown signed a $66 million contract, 4 years. Dude got a big check, so that's probably why she stayed with him. Plus, the dude is 6'8", 350 pounds. For him to even mess and smack around on a woman makes me sick. Last thing I'm going to do in Hardwood is tell y'all a very funny story. So, Cleveland Browns superstar Myles Garrett said he got sucker punched in the face by a fan. Check this out. You know Garrett's 6'4", 275 pound man, right? So he says that this dude, he said this today. He said a dude came up to him and said, "Yo, Myles, can I get a picture with you?" And Myles, to oblige, rolled down his window. The guy stopped his car. And Myles Garrett rolled down the window, so the guy could take what he thought was going to be a selfie. He said he stuck his face out the window, and the guy walked up with like the phone, like he's going to like be his buddy. And then he sucker punched Myles Garrett in the face, and then took off running, jumped in his car and took off. Of course, he took a video of this. So Myles, to like clown the guy, which is so funny, He said he made fun of him, and he said the dude punched me in the face, and I didn't even flinch. What basically says how big of a wuss he is. And then the other part is he dropped his phone. When he took off.
So now he knows who he is.
Like, if he wanted to, he could actually really, really mess the dude. But he basically said, don't worry, I don't need to get a lawsuit because this guy's such a loser. But anyway, don't go punching a 6'4", 275-pound man, because if Miles wanted to, he probably could have gotten out of the car and chased your car down. That dude is fast as lightning. I'll be back in 2 shakes. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 FM.
Sports Time with Rollo and Stacks. Every weekday afternoon from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod, and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn? You bet your boots.
Your Memphis Tigers football team is back in action on Saturday, October 19th against AAC foe Tulane. This is a big game in the race for AAC dominance, and a loud and proud Memphis home crowd is necessary. Single game tickets start at just $20 and are available today at GoTigersGo.com. Come out and see one of the nation's most exciting teams. Memphis versus Tulane on Saturday, October 19th at 6 p.m. Sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Stripe up.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. If you're in need of a roof, there's no better place to start than Five Ash Roofing. No matter what your situation is, we have you covered. We can walk you through the insurance process without committing fraud like many of my competitors. You'd be surprised how many times salesmen and contractors will manufacture storm damage just so they can get a sale. We do residential, multifamily, and commercial work. We're certified in every form of roofing we offer. Our labor warranties are for the life of the shingle, and we don't charge extra for that. And to my knowledge, there's no other roofing company in Memphis offering that level of security. And if that's not enough, we offer a best price guarantee. We are the official roofer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department and a proud member of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for Football Grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Now back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour.
Kick it over here.
This hour is brought to you by your CBD store, your one-stop for all your natural, organic, and non-GMO CBD products, where good health hits home. Here's Johnny Radio himself, John Harden.
Shackles, ball and chain. Listen to the whistle of the evening train. You know you about to wind up dead. You don't head back to Tennessee yet. The rich man step on my poor head.
OMG, I can't stop laughing. And y'all ready to laugh? Find out who's getting sued $51,000 for his dog urinating all over a house. And do you want to get trolled on your birthday? You probably wouldn't, but Bryce Harper got trolled by the Nationals on his birthday, and I'll tell you how, why, and what happened. And I want to tell you that my man, Drew, he's going to get married. And he wasn't going to get married ever, probably, because he used to dress very buddy. And now he went to Frontier Western Store, and he doesn't just look buddy, he's actually got a fiance. So if you look like Buddy, or if you look buddy, or you know that, like, or if people just, like, realistically aren't, like, coming your way, just do me a favor. Go on down to 5880 Goodman Road down in Olive Branch. Go to Frontier Western Store. Get you some beautiful Ariat jeans. Get you some new shirts. Get you some dank new boots. They got the largest boot showroom on planet Earth. I'm serious at a heart attack. They're open 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 1 to 6 on Sunday. And they're open 24/7, 365 at FrontierWesternStore.com. Check them out. Family owned and operated since 1967. Frontier Western Store. Proudly serving the Mid-South for over 50 years and helping people like Drew go from buddy to PIMP. That's right. Frontier Western Store, they got love for you. Now, speaking of funny, Bryce Harper signed a 13-year, $330 million contract with the Phillies. That kept him in the NL East, where he played his Nationals. By the way, his Nationals just are going to the World Series.
No longer his Nationals.
Yeah, they're no longer his Nationals. He turned down a $330 million contract to leave the Nationals. Now, he left them. I think they felt a little bit spurned, so this is kind of funny. So the star outfielder, this is where it gets really, really funny. He's probably watching the game, and they tweeted out, "We want to bring back a title to DC, NLCS champions. Stay in the fight. Happy birthday, Bryce." So that when they go to the World Series, it's Bryce Harper's birthday.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty low and funny.
I mean, maybe Bryce Harper's got some curse, man. Maybe there's a curse there. But hey, by the way, Nationals making it to the World Series. And the only other team now that has not been to one?
Seattle.
Yep.
Dude, don't mess with me on baseball, homie.
I know, that's what I
I know, I love
I want to see the Mariners get in there. I have some family up there. They have been
Bro,
long awaiting that.
When Jay was there and Alex Rodriguez and Ken Griffey Jr. and the big unit and all them, dude, I thought for sure they were going to get there. And then they're just, I don't even want to talk about it. That was horrible. I even lost a lot of money. But yeah, today is Bryce Harper's birthday. So yes, I'm sure he's celebrating with $330 million. But his former team, the Nationals, they celebrating his birthday by getting ready for the World Series. Oh, that is awesome. Now, speaking of something that's funny, could you imagine getting sued $51,000 because your dog peed? Well, if your dog peed in one place, I don't think you would get sued for $51,000. But according to this, Theo Epstein is such a nasty person that when he was renting a house out in Arizona, he moved in, and he said and this is what he has came out and said, due to the scorpion infestation, I would never let my dog out. So I just let my dog pee all over the house. Well, Theo, by admitting that's probably going to cost you $51,000 because they did $51,000 worth of repairs, and they have sent him the bill. And again, he has admitted to letting the dog urinate in the house, but his excuse is there was a scorpion problem in Arizona. Do you think there's any way that Theo gets out of this?
No, but I think the other people might be taking a little advantage. It's just pee, man. Scrub it out.
Well, it was a really nice house he was renting. And again, they aren't asking for one bit of money and like damages. They did $51,000. That's how much it cost to redo all the floors in the house because he literally ruined, they said, every single floor.
This dog was just peeing everywhere.
Everywhere in the house. And that's what I'm saying. Theo admitted to it. So he said, I wasn't going to let him go out there, so I let him pee wherever he wanted to. But anyway, that's a very interesting story. But I will tell you one thing that's always interesting. 901-406-1101. Why? You call Bill at I Buy Houses. Bing, bang, boom. Guess what I just did? I didn't just tell you about Theo Epstein. I didn't just tell you some funny stuff or teach you about CBD. I sold your home. How nice am I? Yeah, I'm that nice. You call 901-406-1101. You talk to my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. I'm telling you, serious or heart attack, you'll have your money in 5 days. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. You need cash in a flash? 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. You call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Bing, bang, boom. Just sold your house. Now, no baseball. Because guess what? Nationals swept the Cardinals. And bad weather is keeping the Astros and the Yankees playing. They play tomorrow. So whatever you do, don't touch that dial. Brett Norsworthy, Dave Willotion, they're next. And I got to tell y'all, get out there and make this world a better place. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Peace.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles, when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown